This about 15 years ago, actually. So the lights have been up for 15 years. The actual event has only been up for 14 because one year, obviously with COVID, we decided we couldn't have the event. So when I look back over that time, these guys have been friends of mine forever anyway, but you know, they're very humble people because I've been through it. I've been through it 15 times. I've seen how it was, and believe it or not, there was a time when it took us 600 man-hours to put this up.
We started volunteering to set up the lights down here, and every year we've come back. We've managed different parts of the setup. There's so many different aspects to it that we eventually learned just about everything there is to know on setting the lights up. And this year they had the chance for somebody new to take over, and we kind of volunteered to take it over.
So I've been here for 25 years. So naturally when my kids were growing up, we would bring them down. And then when John came into my life and we were, met Chris at the tavern and started talking about it, we wanted to be involved. Just over the years, it just progressed and progressed and progressed, and we just became more involved every year.
So, yeah, obviously I'm not American. And in England, Christmas lights are a big thing. I was living in Essex at the time. In England, we don't like white lights. And my son was 4-year-old, and I said, son, I'm gonna treat you to an English Christmas. I put up maybe 5 colored light strings. In 1999, we moved to Ivoryton. So by then I was up to 50,000 lights, right? On my yard. My daughter was a junior at Valley at the time, and she'd never been so embarrassed in her life. There's a tavern over there which is part of the community. Everyone gets there. That's how we all meet each other. And so I was commiserating with Jim Kroll. Jim, what am I gonna do? My son loves this. Everyone loves it. People were always stopping by my house and all the rest of that stuff. And I've got these 50,000 lights. What do you think I should do with them? He says, why don't we put them on the green?
Chris and Lorraine Donovan were in charge of getting the volunteers. I think at one point we had like 20 volunteers. We really needed like 11 or 12. So we're able to get a lot more done.
It's a great example of if you're well organized, you can accomplish a lot.
All told, with the volunteers, we had probably a total of 8 hours to set up the green over two weekends.
So it takes a village, literally, to put this together. It takes the Ivoryton village to put this together.
Myself, I've probably put in another 20 hours going through, just making sure everything is good, setting up some of the programmed lights that we have. That's an aspect that in the past we've had somebody else that's run that, so I stepped up and said, I'll take care of it. So a lot of the additional 20 hours was spent hooking up the lights for the computer program that's tied into the music that we have.
So there's actually a transmitter in the gazebo that plays music, and the lights dance to that music. So if you're in your car and you turn your car radio to 101.5 FM, you can actually hear the music that the lights are dancing to. It's really cool. But as a result, there's no music outside.
So we have been involved in different ways throughout the years. I believe this was the 14th year of the Illuminations. And this year they asked us if we could do music because people had been saying through the years, we need some music, some Christmas music while we're here. So the Committee for Illuminations got some speakers that they spread all over town, and then they had the local restaurants and the playhouse. Everybody had their speakers out, and so we played Christmas music. We had our big speakers out too, and they were probably the loudest.
Christmas candy hanging on a tree. Fine and dandy.
I always say that this is the Christmas capital of Connecticut.
People get excited about it. I think one year we were talking to a couple that were from North Carolina because they heard about it and they drove up for the weekend.
Because you coordinate the theatre, you've got the Essex steam train taking you just on the Polar Express. In 2016, we were voted number 3 in the state.
They did the Elf on the Shelf. You know, the shops were open, the letters to Santa, the letters to the veterans. Petting zoo, the petting zoo. Which is great, and the kids run around, and you know, they're just so excited.
It's just like a magical time. You can just have fun. There's no rules really. You can just have fun and be with your friends. I made a cookie with blue frosting and all the different sprinkles.
One thing that we've done differently this year, actually, now that I think about it, but the Essex Fire Department is a volunteer fire department. They don't get paid. They're the first responders, so they've lost numbers. They're supposed to have 60, they're down to 38. So they're going to do a volunteer drive in the Ivoryton firehouse that night. They're going to have videos of what they do. They're going to have people going into the fire to check the fire engine out.
We had popcorn from the firehouse.
Santa comes out from the front door of the theatre at 6 o'clock to do his thing. And the question is, how do we get people to be aware that Santa's coming? In the old days, he would fly in.
So we gave people warnings to get over to the playhouse to the steps, because a lot of times people wouldn't know when to go over and when exactly Santa was going to get here, but we had that information. So we told people about 15 minutes ahead of time, 10, 5, and then just 2 minutes, like you gotta hurry.
Then if I look at what's the favorite part of, I've been doing it a long time, and my answer's always the same, it has been from the day one. It's all about the kids.
My favorite lighthouse is the big tree.
These kids, they come along, their eyes just light up when they see these lights. You can come to the green any day of the week during December when it's dark, and there will be kids all over that green, dancing and just really having a good time. But you know, the theatre, we can't have a rain date. 9 years ago, it was buckets. So much so that no one showed up apart from the policeman. Santa arrived and there was no one, but what's he supposed to do? That's what he does. So he showed up at 6. From nowhere, absolutely nowhere, all these kids came running out of cars. And we had 100 kids running into the playhouse because they wanted to see Santa. But one of the things that people don't realize is we don't charge. I raise money every year so that we can do what we can for the people. We do 2 things. You can get your photograph taken with Santa, And then as soon as you're done that, he'll give you a present. And that's why I'm so adamant to keep this thing going, is a lot of them were from out of town. They were poor. When they got that present from Santa, that is probably the only present they're going to get for Christmas. So when they got their photograph taken with Santa, the whole family got their photograph taken with Santa, because that was going to be their Christmas photograph.
It's so amazing. Last year, actually, I was an elf at the Playhouse, and I helped all the little kids get up on the stage. And that was so fun, just to see their faces, and they sit in his lap, and each child gets a gift, which is really a big part of Illuminations, and something I think is really miraculous, that they are able to buy enough gifts for every child who comes through. The highlight of their Christmas season, you know, to see all the lights and to hear the music and to get to see Santa, it's just wonderful.
It was just really fun. It was fun meeting Santa because I was with both of them and a bunch more of my friends.
We don't have any professionals. We don't have a town subsidizing. Whatever we do is done by volunteers in the local community.
The community coming together, working together to achieve the end goal. And I think that makes us a lot different than other areas.